stuff happening out there with the new Congress. I'm keeping an eye on everything for you. I'm going to bring you up to date on one thing that was just introduced. It might be one of those slippery slope type things where they try to do this, restrict benefits to this particular group of people. And if it works, then they restrict to another one. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. And we'll talk about some clickbait out there about $5,100 Social Security extra benefit coming out there and people being paid twice a month and all kinds of crazy stuff. So we'll get into all that. And this is also a live Q&A. So as soon as I go down the list there, I will open it up. Looks like I already got a bunch of questions. Any questions you have, just go ahead and type them in the chat and I'll get to as many as I possibly can within an hour, help you get all the benefits you earn: Social Security, retirement, disability, Medicare, Medicaid, survivor benefits, spouse benefits, the whole 9 yards, and ball of wax. Okay. So political changes. We got a brand new Congress, the 119th Congress, and yeah, wow, they have an agenda. Um, One of those, and I always like to show you the actual situation here. Let me get this out of the way. This is just introduced by a representative, Morgan Griffith from Virginia, and HR 571. So, the House of Representatives to amend Title II of the Social Security Act. What's Title II? Well, I was Title II. When I worked at the Social Security Administration, I took claims for retirement benefits, SSDI, spouse benefits, survivor benefits. That's Title II of the Social Security Act. Basically, Social Security offices are broken up into those two titles: Title II and then Title 16 of the Social Security Act. And those are the people that deal with SSI, the Supplemental Security Income, the welfare-based program. But I myself was Title II. So this is to amend the Title II of the Social Security Act to means test certain child insurance benefits. So what are child insurance benefits? Well, number one is if you retire or receive disability benefits and you have a child under the age of 18, that child can get benefits on your record. You have to retire or be receiving disability. And those children can also receive benefits for the rest of their life if they are disabled. It's called disabled adult child benefits, and they can get benefits based on a parent. Or if the parent passes away, obviously the child can get benefits up until they're age 18 or graduate high school, or again, if they're disabled for the rest of their life, as long as they became disabled before the age of 22. So this is an attempt to means test those benefits. What does that mean? We don't know. It's looks like it's a trial balloon. They didn't provide any text in the actual on congress.gov there. There's no specifics to it. So it's in the early stages. So you know what happens in the early stages? This is when we reach out to these people and slap them on the hand and say, no, no, don't even try that, because there are other proposals out there, study committees, project. I'm not going to mention the name, even though a lot of it has been taking place now. People said it's not anyway. But they're also talking about means testing spouse benefits. What does that mean? Same type of situation. If you're receiving benefits as a spouse, a divorced spouse, a surviving spouse, maybe the government, Congress thinks you make too much money and you have money in the bank, or you have another pension, or you have savings, and therefore you shouldn't get those benefits. That's what means tests is. That's the same type of situation for SSI, Supplemental Security Income. If you file for SSI, the welfare-based benefit, if you file for food stamps, if you file for Medicaid, those are all means tested programs that if you have money in the bank or other pensions or other money, then you can't get Medicaid from the state, not Medicare, but Medicaid, the welfare-based health insurance program. You cannot get food stamps. You cannot get SSI. And now they're expanding it to children. And it might be one of those trial balloons that says, well, nobody really complained about us taking it away from children. Now let's go after, spouses and all the rest of it. But that's why you should go ahead and make sure you call your politician, your local or your federal representative that represents you locally, senator, congressperson, and say, no, don't even try it. We're watching you. We've got an eye on you. Ed is watching everything you do. So don't do it. All right. So please reach out to your politicians on that. Let's make sure that stops, because, one day it's this and the next day it's, even worse. All right. So what about payments here? Let's throw up the payments here real quick, and we'll detail what we're looking at for February for payments. So Uh, b- this applies to people that receive benefits after started benefits after 1997. If you are born the first 10 days of the month and you get your check on the second Wednesday of the month, if you're born from the 11th to the 20th, basically the second 10 days of the month, you get your check on the third Wednesday of the month, and on and on. If you receive an SSI, that supplemental security income, then you're going to receive your check in February 28th. For those people that receive their benefits early before 1997, usually get your benefits on the third, or if you're getting SSI as well, then you're getting on the first. And this is pretty much stable. And what we see out there a lot of times is when in a particular month, the pay date was like on a weekend, the Department of Treasury, Social Security moves it up a little bit and pays it on the Friday. And that's when you see all of these social media people out there saying, "Oh, you're getting two checks this month. Click this button and I'll tell you about these two checks." You're not getting two checks. You're just getting next month's a day early. So yeah, we have to stop the clickbait out there. Another thing I want to talk about in January, February, March, this is also called the Medicare OEP, the open enrollment period. You all heard about the AEP, the annual enrollment period for, was it October 15th to December 7th. And now we have the open enrollment period. So if you have a Medicare Advantage plan and you figure out, oops, I picked the wrong one this last time, or I forgot to check mine, because those things take a little bit more extra effort. You have to check those Medicare Advantage plans because they change every single year. So if you haven't checked yours, now's the time to do it. And I'll put my partner's number up there. You can call them up and they can help you out. So you have until March 31st to change that plan if you want to. Now, this is also if you have a Medicare supplement plan. Um, you can pretty much change that 365 days of the year. But if you have a Medicare Advantage and want to switch to a Medicare supplement plan, now's also the time to do that as well. You can go back to original Medicare, get out of your Medicare Advantage, go back to original Medicare, and get a Medicare supplement. In most states, you'll have to go through medical underwriting, the health underwriting, which is it's not like a physical necessarily. The person that helps you out just asks you some question based on whatever company you choose, and hopefully they can get you a Medicare supplement, so you don't have to deal with all those, prior authorizations and networks and all the rest of it. So you have until March 31st. But if you wait until March 31st, how it works is if you get it done by the end of January, your new plan will start February 1st. So it's good to, get on this as quick as possible. If you wait until February, your new plan will start March 1st. And if you wait to do it in March, then obviously it'll start April 1st. And that might be the last time for you to be able to change until the next of the year, unless you have some other type of special enrollment period. All right, there's another clickbait thing out there, and I did a video on it, and people said, "Well, my video was kind of clickbait as well." Well, I talked about it, but I put question marks because in order to get to the people that the other clickbait kind of went to, you kind of have to, it's a YouTube crazy thing. But anyway, you have to kind of follow their lead in order to get to people. But I kept it to a minute. I said, yeah, there's no $5,100 extra Social Security benefit. It just basically for those people that paid the maximum into Social Security their entire lives, and they waited till they were 70 years old to get those max delayed retirement credits. Those people starting this year, whenever their payday is, will get $5,108. So yeah, a lot of people picked that up and made a video and said, "You're getting 5,100." No, very small, very, very small number of people that paid that max and, waited till they're 70 years old will get the 5,100 or something, $55,108. But anyway. All right. And there's also some updates on the Social Security Fairness Act. I did a video on this. Um, that's the video I did. And the topics I talked about, the particular issues I talked about, Social Security came up and they kind of updated their website and added a lot of the stuff I talked about in the critical update, because there was a lot of people with questions. So I kind of beat Social Security to the punch. But I'm going to talk about probably this week, later on this week, I will go through that website and update people on what they are talking about in that particular on socialsecurity.gov to keep you updated on what's going to happen with that going forward. It's going to take a long time. I anticipated it is going to take about a year to figure out the entire thing. And people said I was crazy. And guess what happened? The Social Security website said it's going to take about a year to figure out the entire thing. So anyway, Social Security, the tax season is upon us. A lot of people are asking about, okay, President Trump promised no Social Security on taxes. Do I have to pay Social Security on taxes? Nothing has happened yet. There was no executive order talking. Even if there is an executive order, won't do something like that. That has to pass through Congress, and it's a long, evolved process. And it's not even been introduced. There was an introduction in Congress to take benefits away from children, but there's nothing in Congress to start to take care of to stop from you paying your Social Security taxes. And somebody asked it on the, I think, on the questions already. Let's go ahead and jump into the questions. Oh, and here's the number for wherever that is. Yes, there's the number if you need help, if you want to check your Medicare Advantage plan and see if it's still the best plan for this year. If you want to see if you can go back to original Medicare and get a Medicare supplement, reach out to my partners there and they'll be able to help you out. All right, let's jump into a bunch of questions. And I think I already saw one question about what I think about paying taxes on Social Security. I don't think they should have instituted that. That was started in the 1980s in order to shore up Social Security for the future. I understand that. But no, I don't think there should be taxes on Social Security because you already pay it one time. But the problem is if we don't pay tax, because 40-50% of people don't even pay taxes on Social Security. So it's not going to help the people that really need help. It's going to help the people that, I mean, don't really, they've already got extra money, extra pensions or extra income coming in. It's going to help them, but not really the lower people, low income people, because most people don't. Well, 40-50% of people don't even pay taxes on Social Security. But if they stop Social Security taxes, then that's just going to deplete the trust fund quicker, and we're going to get more cuts sooner. So end it, fine, but you have to make up that difference, or everybody's going to be hurt. All right, Joanne. Is it true that we're getting a $2,000 stimulus check and a $200 on our check? You don't, yeah, no, there's nothing like that out there. And again, more kind of clickbait out there. So watch those clickbait thing. And the important thing is when, if you're going to get some type of check coming in, then this is what you're going to see. You're going to see the president up there in front of flags, in front of a podium, patting themselves on the back and say, look how awesome I am. I'm going to give you an extra $2,000 or $200 or something like that. Until you see that, it ain't coming. So don't believe anybody else on, on the tubers and social media and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. I retired back in May from teaching for 20 years. Okay. That was the end of that question. Okay. What does 35 years mean? If I work for 30 years, will I get the same amount or will it be less? I do not understand how does an average of 35 years. How is the calculation done? Yeah, basically what Social Security does, they determine your benefit amount by your high 35 years of earnings. So if you only have 30, then there's 5 zeros figured in there. So you take those high 35 years, you take that total amount, you divide it by 35 years, was it 420 months? And that's how much they come up with and then they index that. So they come up with what's called an AMI, averaged index monthly earnings, and that's how the sausage is made. But yeah, anytime you can add some more money into those 0 years, if you have a 0 year and you work a little bit, every little bit helps to increase your benefit amount. Hope you are all well. If on SSDI and reach full retirement age of 67, can you ask to stop payments and wait till 70 so you can get 8% more a year? Wow, it sounds like someone's been watching my channel there. We have the most educated, savvy Social Security retirees in the country here. So yes, Bori, yes, you can. A lot of people, this is called voluntary delayed retirement credits. And it's basically if you're on retirement benefits or if you're on disability benefits, about a month or 2 or 3 before you turn your full retirement age, you can ask Social Security to voluntarily suspend your benefits so you can take advantage of that 8% of the delayed retirement credits. Yes, you can. But The difficult thing is that when you go into I'm finding I'm looking for the resource right here. When you go into Social Security, because not many people know about that strategy, because they don't watch just the channel, and not many people do it regardless. And so when you go into the Social Security Administration, they look confused and they're like, "What are you talking about? You can't do that." I just put at the end of the chat, end of the live chat there. I put the voluntary VDRC, voluntary delayed retirement credits, the reference. So if you're looking to do that, print off that reference and then go into Social Security Administration, and you will know more than they do. And when they say you can't do that, you hand them the reference, and yep, you can definitely do that. And you don't even have to wait till 70. If you stop your benefits, voluntary delay your benefits, and a year later, you need that money, you get that extra 8%. So let's see. What are your thoughts on getting taxes? Okay, that's the one I saw earlier, and I just answered that one. The taxes on Social Security. One, I'm certainly hoping that the tax is eliminated from Social Security. As they said, we pay taxes on that money already, and we should not have to pay taxes again when retrieving. I agree 100%. But make sure, again, I'll do one on how the whole thing is calculated on taxes. But yeah, if all you're receiving is Social Security, then you're not paying taxes on those benefits anyway. On the Social Security benefits that you're receiving, you might have a part time job and you're paying taxes there, but you're not paying taxes on Social Security. Sweet Pea, what's up? This question is about Medicare. I have not used mine yet. I heard our drugstore gives the flu shot for free to Medicare who have pay A and B, and I do. Will I send a bill after? No, a lot of those vaccinations, they just expanded some of those vaccinations as with what the last year or so. Yeah, you go in there and you tell them you have Part A and Part B, and it's usually covered under Part B there, so you should be good. But hopefully you have something else. Don't just have Part A and Part B. Original Medicare Part A and Part B is awesome. Definitely needs fixed, but there's a lot of gaps there, and the big gap is in Medicare Part B. So if all you have is Part B, and you go into a doctor's office and they give you $100,000 Band-Aid, you have to pay $20,000, 20% of that. So that's why people get either a Medicare supplement plan, which are the ones I always recommend checking out first. That way you don't have prior authorizations. You can go to any doctor you want that takes Medicare. There is a monthly premium for those. But you got a lot more flexibility with a Medicare supplement. But if it's just not right for you, usually it's a budget issue, then Medicare Advantage. But unless you got a few $1,000,000 under your mattress, you really need to get something else to cover you for those gaps. So, all right, let's see here. So it's somebody talking about taxes, and I avoid taxes at all costs because I didn't work for the IRS. Does the full retirement age amount stay the same forever, or does it increase with COLA? Everybody's increases with COLA. Yep. It doesn't matter what type of benefits you're receiving, SSI, SSDI, independently entitled divorced spouse, retirement, spouse benefits, surviving spouse. Yes. Once the numbers come out, usually the first week of October, they do it for everybody. Yep. Thank you for your help. Tomorrow is my call. I'm 60 and a half, disability recipient. My husband passed January 1st, almost 68 on disability. How will this affect my survivor benefits? What should I ask? Okay, so you're going in there, you're 60 and you're receiving disability. So yeah, because you're at least 60 years old, you can file for benefits on his record as a surviving spouse. And since he was on disability, he technically didn't take his benefits early because being on disability, even if you start benefits at 55 or 65 or whatever, that's not considered early. That's just considered disability. So it's not going to decrease your benefit amount. What will decrease your benefit amount is the fact that you're 60 and a half. Anytime you take social benefits from Social Security, retirement, survivor, spouse benefits, your benefits are reduced if you take those benefits early. But Lisa, mother of two rescues, awesome, because you recognized and there's way too many people out there that don't know this and are losing money. So please subscribe, and share and all this. Because a lot of people out there that are receiving disability are afraid to sign up even if there's more money for survivor benefits, for spouse benefits, for divorce spouse benefits. Why are they scared? Because they're like, yeah, I'll get an extra two or three or four or $500, but I'll lose my disability because I'll be on survivor benefits or whatever. And that's fine, but I'll lose my Medicare because, if I don't have disability, then I won't have Medicare and I'll have to wait till I'm 65 to get Medicare again. No, incorrect. That is 100% incorrect. If you have disability benefits and you're entitled, in your case, to survivor benefits, let's say you're going to get you get $1,000 from disability benefits and you're entitled to an extra 200 from your deceased spouse, you'll continue to get your $1,000 and then you'll get $200 surviving spouse benefits. But because your disability is still there, it still continues. Your Medicare will still continue as well. It's called dual entitlement, simultaneous entitlement. So you'll be entitled to, disability, surviving spouse benefits, Medicare, and if your benefit is still low, then you can go down and apply for Medicaid from the state, because you can have Medicare and Medicaid at the same time. And if you're eligible for Medicaid, maybe you'll get one of the higher levels of Medicaid, because there's different levels of Medicaid, and you'll be able to get what's called a Medicare savings program, where the state will actually pay for your Part B premium, the $185. And then if you have Medicare and Medicaid, that's the time I do kind of recommend a Medicare Advantage plan, because if you receive Medicaid, you can't get a Medicare supplement anyway. So the Medicare Advantage plan, they're called dual eligible, because you're eligible for dual Medicare and Medicaid. And those are the ones you see all the time advertised, kind of scammy about the extra, grocery cards and all that stuff. But they do exist. They're just advertised in a kind of a scammy way by some people out there. So I'm talking to you, some people. Stop. All right. CSRS annuitant. So civil service, the old federal retirement system. Been married for 22 years. Spouse is collecting regular Social Security benefits. I applied for spouse benefits. Upon repeal, the GPO denied online. Any thoughts of why they did this? Because their lawyers are still looking at it, and it's going to take a while. But you did the right thing. Is you applied for spouse benefits, so you're on the record. You're just in a non-pay status right now. You're just in suspense, and then when they finish, because if you read the Social Security Fairness Act that Congress passed, it's only 2 sentences. And typical Congress, they said, here, Social Security, here, do this workload that's going to take you a year to do, and it's going to take an enormous amount of people, and we're not going to give you any extra resources to do it. Just figure it out. And who's going to pay for it? Everybody else that is just looking for retirement benefits or disability or survivor benefits, because, as you know, you can't get into the phone because politicians don't want you to get into the phone, because they don't want you to get your money, a lot of them. So I'm calling you out, politicians. And if you disagree with me, I'd be more than happy to testify in front of Congress. I'll be on the next plane. Oh, wait, I misread your question. Yes, your Social Security amount will go up with every COLA. Yes, yep. Let's see. Omar, what is the truth about an increase to Social Security benefits other than the 2.5% COLA? Until it happens, it doesn't happen. There's 2 ways you can increase your benefits, yearly like that, is obviously the COLA. And there's also, if you continue to work, if you're receiving retirement benefits, even disability benefits, if you work and pay into Social Security and it's one of your high 35 years of earnings, then Social Security automatically calculates that benefit. So let's see. What else? Do I need to start Social Security if I'm on long-term disability when I turn 67 at full retirement age? I might want to wait longer. Okay, so you're on long-term disability. Is that through a private? Are you receiving SSDI, Social Security Disability? Let's just assume that's what you mean. That you're on long-term disability from an employer, and let's say that you're also receiving SSDI. No, when you turn, you don't have to do anything. As long as you're disabled, you want to continue collecting those disability benefits. What happens is when you return 60, your full retirement age, Social Security stops taking your Social Security disability insurance money out of the Social Security trust fund and starts taking out of the retirement trust fund. So basically, you're switched from disability to retirement benefits. Most people don't even recognize the switch because your benefit amount stays the same, your pay date stays the same, but now you no longer have work limitations because you're no longer on disability, and you no longer have those CDRs, the continuing disability reviews. So you're free. I was married 16 years, and can I collect on my wife's benefit and not touch my benefits till 67? No, unless the only time you can do that is if you're filing for surviving spouse benefits. But in your case, no. You have to file for benefits on your own record first, and then if there's any money there from your spouse, then you get it on top of that. So got a question there about the windfall elimination provision. Like I said, I'm going to do a video later this week, and I'll go down the Social Security website and the questions that they ask and answer on their website. I will translate that in English, and I will tell you what they actually mean. So Social Security, the lawyers wrote those statements, and sometimes you're like, okay, wait a second, what exactly does that mean? And I'll give you the inside scoop on that. I received DAC benefits, so this is interesting. Yes. Received, past tense. So I'm sure you know how important they were, those disabled adult child benefits. So make sure, I don't know if you're in Virginia, or it doesn't matter, reach out to whoever your politician is and say, okay, we got your number. You know, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect, people on retirement. But again, it's one of those slippery slope type things. And what's interesting is there are means testing benefits. I bet you this politician doesn't even know that Social Security benefits are already, in some sense, means tested, because people that watch my channel know that people that make a high income throughout their life get a lower percentage of what they paid into Social Security. If your average earnings throughout your life was like $10,000 a month, you get about 35% of what you paid into Social Security. If your average earnings throughout your life was about $1,000 a month, you get about 90% of what you paid into Social Security. So 35%, 90%. So they are kind of means tested. I bet you if you call that congressperson in Virginia and said, aren't they already means tested? Higher wage earners, even their kids get less benefits because of that calculation, and you just might get hung up on or something. So, okay, let's see. My husband is frantic. They are going to cut Social Security, right? Is this true, or will it be 2035? As of right now, I've got all of the stats and the reports in the description of my YouTube channel. The Social Security actuaries, the Social Security trustees report, the Congressional Budget Office, everybody across the board. They're a little bit different in terms of the percentage and when, but right now we're looking at probably about 2033, 2034. There's going to be about a 21 or 22% cut in benefits across the board if nothing is done. If this current administration does some of the stuff they're talking about, stopping taxes and stuff like that, then there's going to be more cuts sooner. And I've got the report again in my YouTube channel, in the description there. So yeah, we need to choose what we want, whether we're just going to sit around and wait for our corporate overlords to decide what is going to happen to our benefits, or are we going to jump out there? Okay, Omar. Okay, I think this is the second part of the question. I am 63, collecting Social Security benefits, and I'm bringing my 2 children from abroad. How would I know how much they are entitled to? I earn 1961. So basically, they will get up to 50% of your PIA. What's your PIA? That's your primary insurance amount, the benefit amount you would have collected at your full retirement age. It's not the 1961 because unless you're receiving disability. So it's 50% of your full benefit amount. Up to 50%. There's also a thing called the family max, that there's only a maximum amount that can be paid out on a record. Any idea when those affected? Okay, Social Security Fairness Act, I'll do a video later this week on that. Let's see, 63, waiting for SSDI approval, currently in SSR, but was approved for California SDI. How this thing will affect my application as SDI? I don't deal with taxes, but okay, you're waiting for your Social Security disability plan claim to be approved, and unfortunately, yeah, it's because of the low staffing, the worst staffing in the 50 years, and that's a plan by politicians to do this. This is not, something that just happened out of the blue. Both parties failed us on this, and it's taking 6 to 9 months if you're lucky to get your decision. So it sounds like you're on SSI now, possibly. And California SSDI. Yeah, it really depends if that is if from California, if that's a workers' comp type thing, it might affect your Social Security benefits. Joanne, Dr. Ed, I have 16 months. I have 16 months to for retirement age. If I apply mid-year this year, is the earning limit still 23,400? I'm commission sales, so I don't know what I might earn in 2025. Good question. Yes and no. If you go if you go over the $23,400 for this year. So if you apply, let's say you start in July of this year, you want to start your Social Security benefits. If you made $1 million up until June, Social Security doesn't care. You're way over the 23,400, but they don't care because you weren't receiving benefits. It's only when you start receiving benefits they can go to what's called a monthly earnings test. So starting July, when you actually start your benefits, then you have to go under the monthly limit. What's the monthly limit? $1,950. How did they come up with that? $23,400 divided by 12. So as long as you're under 1950 when you start your benefits for the rest of the year, you're good. And then next year, you have to stay under the annual earnings limit. So, but if you're commissioned, I mean, you can, if that's always tough to figure out. But if start your benefits in July and all of a sudden you get a big commission, then, Social Security is going to want that money back. Or if it looks like, oh yeah, I'm doing really good, I'm really killing it, and a lot of sales, yada yada, you can actually withdraw your application within 12 months, and you have to pay all that money back because you're basically withdrawing the application. So. Other than telling our representatives to get rid of the FICA cap, what else should we be encouraging them to do as well to keep the Social Security Trust Fund in good shape? Good question. So, yeah, this is contact your politicians there. Let me get this other stuff out of the way. So, yeah, here's the Capitol switchboard. You contact your senator, your congressperson, House representative, contact the president, ask them to smash the cap. So people that are making over 176,100 pay the same amount in Social Security that we do. What are you doing to improve customer service? Because a lot of people, they say, oh, bad customer service, that's just inconvenient. No, yes, it is inconvenient, but there's a lot of people missing money because people don't want to file for disability, but they just can't wait that long, so they just give up. People miss months because they should have filed for retirement a month ago or survivor benefits a month ago or 2 months ago, but they couldn't get in the phone, so they miss a month or two if they don't know what they're. So people are getting cuts right now to their Social Security. And it's 100% the fault of the politicians for not providing resources to help you get your benefits. So ask them, what are you doing to improve the customer service at my local office so the people in my community do not get cuts, they get help. Edge channel is awesome, and all the people that help on my channel and the Q&A are awesome, but this should be done by the Social Security Administration so I can go back into retirement. But I will never retire. But anyway, and then ask them, okay, what are you doing to make sure? So if your idea is not FICA cap, getting rid of the FICA cap, what is your idea to shore up Social Security so the cuts are not happening? And if they give you some BS thing about telework or fraud, waste, and abuse, and yes, there is fraud, waste, and abuse, but that's not going to solve the issues that we need to get serious about solving the big issues. But politicians are good at distraction, so they'll distract you with some. And some people have already done this, and they sent me the response by Congress. So within the next several days, probably the next week or so, I'm going to read some of those responses from Congress, and I will tell you whether they are valid or BS. So yeah. What station are you on tomorrow, and what time in Chicago? I'm on. It's the Steve Shyman, and it's in Chicago. I'm going to be taping it tomorrow, and then I guess they broadcast it later. So I guess it's not going to be live-ish. So anyway, But yeah, I'll give you a heads up when it's actually going to go out. So yeah, I'm happy to do any of those local TV shows or anything like that. Yeah, we need to get the word out there. Too many people are missing money. Do things like Roth conversion show up as earned income when calculating Social Security benefits since we are taxed on them as income when the conversion takes place? No, not for your Social Security. It some not Roth, but some things do count for the Medicare Part B, that extra premium, but not in Social Security because it's not considered earned income. You earn that money when you actually earned it. But yeah, taking things out and getting an inheritance or winning, gambling or lottery or stuff like that is not earned income. So when you sell a house, that's not earned income. But there are always exceptions with Social Security. If you're a realtor and you sell a house, then obviously that's earned income from net income for business, right? Deborah, if you know someone who is getting paid under the table, cash, but drawing SSI and it has been working for a while still, it's not fair to others who are legitimately trying to get benefits. Know the person. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there is fraud, waste, and abuse out there. We need to, if you see it, report it. And so, yes, because other people that takes benefits away from other people that actually need that money. So you can contact in my YouTube description. I've got the OIG, the Office of the Inspector General, who a lot of the current president fired a lot of them. But anyway, and Deborah Lejeune. I was never stationed at Camp Lejeune, and yeah, on the East Coast. I was always a West Coast Marine. But any relation to the Lejeune? Dr. Ed, are waiting back for back pay for SSDI that it was granted October 2024. Our attorney has been paid, but today, when called the Social Security office, we were told that we could have to wait another 90 days. What can we do? Just like everything else, anytime you have a problem with Social Security, contact your politicians and say, "Hey, my attorney got paid. I need that money. It's my money. I was approved for that money. What are you doing to help me get it?" You can go onto their website, and on politicians' website, there's a little button you can push that says, "I need help with a federal agency." So anytime you're on hold or anytime you have, you're delayed getting an appointment, I say everybody should contact their politicians. And if politicians just we just do that on a continuing basis. Politicians are going to hate me for saying this, but if we just continuously do that every time we're aggravated with Social Security, don't take it out on Social Security employees unless that particular Social Security employee sucks. Then yes, take it out on them. Well, report them. But the lack of customer service is because of Social Security is at a 50-year low in staffing. And why? Because politicians refuse to give Social Security resources to help you. So reach out to your politicians. In your particular case, reach out to them and say, "Hey, I need help with this. I need my money. And by the way, what are you doing to improve the customer service?" If we all did that across the or across the entire country, I think, yeah, that would make a big, big difference. I love your show. I told other people what you educated us about. I retired at 62 and work under the 1950. Okay, yeah, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, please share. Yes, need more people to get the information out there. Yeah, so 1950. If that's your first year, then the 1950. But after that, you don't necessarily have to stay under 1950 each month, because it just goes on a yearly, basis. 23,400. So you can make $23,400 on January 1st, and then stop working for the rest of the year, as long as the following year you don't go over that amount. If you go over that amount, then yeah, they will hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. Terry, how can guardianship be changed? Tina is guardian of John. Checks are in Tina and John names, but Barb take care of John, has no access. Okay, guardianship, yeah, that's a whole different thing. You're talking about the representative payee for Social Security. That's what it's called, the representative payee. Yeah, you just go in there and file for the representative payee. So whoever you think should be the representative payee for that individual, you just go in there and say, "Hey, I want to file for representative payee for this individual." And if there's already another representative payee, then they will send a letter to the previous representative payee and say, "Hey, this new person wants to be it. Are you good with letting this new person be the representative payee?" And then once that's good, or if both of you go in there together, then that eliminates that step. So easy, easy, easy. Let's see here. I'm jumping around a little bit. I am disabled. I have SSDI, regular Medicare, and a Humana supplement F. You mentioned earlier that they're phasing out Plan F. Should I be concerned? No. If you have Plan F, that means you got it a while ago, and if the prices are not going up too crazy, then no. Yeah, F is those are the Medicare supplement Plan F covers all of the gaps of original Medicare. Plan G and N, Plan G covers 5 of the gaps, and but one is a, pretty low, few $100, annual deductible. But no, if you're happy with it, and it's the problem, they're not really the new people can't sign up for Part F, unless you're very aged. Um and the problem is the pool is getting smaller because the people that have F are getting older and sicker and, shuffling off their mortal coil. And so the risk pool is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So those people that have Plan F who bought it in a way that their prices go up considerably every month, every year, then yeah, those people are trying to jump ship and get out of Plan F. But unfortunately, if you're 75 years old and sick or something, then yeah, you're pretty much stuck with Plan F. But no, if you're happy with it and the prices are not going up too drastically, but if you're healthy, and your prices are going up, you might want to switch to a G or an N or something like that. Again, you can reach out to Chapter and they can see if they can help you out. And remember, if you're on disability and you turn 65, you're in a new window where you can get a Medicare supplement plan. Most people under 65 that have Medicare because they're disabled, you can't get a Medicare supplement plan. There's a few states that allow you, but most don't. But when you're 65, there is no health underwriting. They can't charge you more or discriminate against you or anything like that. So, hey, Sweet Bug. Hey, how have you been? Long time no see. Regular here. That's always awesome. Michael, I get a little over $1,200 on Social Security retirement. My total bills is just 20 under. My SNAP is 23. I'm 67. Not much you get for this. Will any of this boost my pay? I think more folks on the lower end. Yeah, so you're probably not paying taxes because that's all the money you have, and so you're getting SNAP. Hopefully, you're also getting Medicare. Well, I'm sure you're getting Medicare, and hopefully you're getting Medicaid because when you have SNAP, the food stamps EBT, you should have applied for Medicaid as well. And hopefully Medicaid is paying for your Part B premium, the $185, and check out the Medicare Advantage dual eligible plans if you have Medicare and Medicaid, and maybe they can give you some more benefits. Those grocery cards and stuff, but it really depends on, your particular area. I taught in Texas for 20 years and I retired back in May of 2024. I was told that I did not qualify for Social Security because I did not contribute. Yes, in the state of Texas, they have a separate system and they don't play with Social Security. So if you didn't work anywhere else, then and you didn't pay into Social Security, then yeah, you didn't pay into Social Security. Um, but you did pay into Medicare. So Texas and California and Nevada and some other states and localities, they did not pay into Social Security. That's at 3%. That's the Social Security Fairness Act. But you did pay into Medicare. Your organization said, we don't want your Social Security, but we'll take your Medicare. But remember, if you were ever married to someone that did, if you're currently married or ever married to anybody that did pay into Social Security, you can be entitled to spouse benefits. And up until now, your Texas pension would offset that. But since they passed the Social Security Fairness Act, now you're able to get those extra benefits that other people, the other 97%, are not able to get. So it's unfair, but that's the law. I am blind. How can I get help with future CDRs from Social Security staff if office doesn't accept walk-ins? In your particular case, yeah, they won't accept walk-ins, but you can schedule an appointment. Or if you read the policy that came out about the reason Social Security is going to this appointment only thing is because they just don't have the staff. They've got all the baby boomers and they got more people requesting assistance, but they have less and less staff, 50-year low in staffing. So they were kind of stuck. They couldn't do anything. So they went to this appointment only thing, which is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea, particularly for people like you. But unfortunately, Congress is not supporting them. So what can they do? But in the policy, it says there are exceptions. So when it's a congressional, it's an exception. So if anybody wants to go down to the local Social Security office, you call your congressional and say, "Hey, I want to visit the local Social Security office," and then technically it becomes a congressional. People are going to hate me for giving that inside scoop, but yeah, in your particular case, you go down there and demand, say, "Hey, I'm blind. I need help. I can't do this over the phone. Obviously, this is a congressional. This is a PR issue, a public relations issue. This is dire need. I need to fill out the CDRs." And if they don't help you, then yeah, I would contact your congressperson. I would contact the media, and yeah, I would go. Almost threw out some Marine Corps stuff there, but anyway, why don't our government hire you, who is an expert and a veteran? They did, and I worked there for many decades, and yeah, so I think is the most efficient use of my time now. The government is trying to throw us under the bus and doesn't want us to help us. And if they hire Ed, they know that he's going to help like he's doing now. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yay, Trump says there will be no tax on tips and no Social Security. Yeah, and I agree. I don't think there should be tax on Social Security. I mentioned that. My mother was a waitress in a breakfast diner, kind of like the old Alice, I guess, right? Yeah, and being a son of a waitress, I think no tax on tips too. But I saw nothing in the executive orders, and there's nothing in Congress that's been introduced. There's stuff about guess some other useless stuff, but not anything on that. So anyway. Just think, with all this technology, the government still work at a snail pace. It's the staffing. That's the issue. Let's see. If divorced spouse gets cut, will we also lose our Medicare coverage? I am 71. We're going to make sure that happens, right, Chris? A divorced spouse, if they decide to go in there and start playing around and saying, "Hey, we're going to means test this," and "Hey, you have $3,000 in your bank account, so therefore you're not entitled to spouse benefits anymore," we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. So you're going to reach out to your politician and make sure it doesn't happen. And that I don't. I personally, again, I'm optimistic, but I don't have a crystal ball. I don't think that will happen. But the reason I think it won't happen is because we are vigilant and we reach out to our politicians and we say, don't even think about it. It's like your kid, reaching up to, touch, the grab a cookie or something like that. It's preemptive strike. Don't even think about it. We saw what you did. Don't wait for it to come into Congress and be introduced and go through committee and stuff, because that's when it can be snuck in at the middle of the night. Like about earlier this year, they attempted essentially the middle of the night, to raise the retirement age in the Senate. They added on to the Social Security Fairness Act. They added on an attempt to raise the retirement age. I think it was 69 or 70. And yeah, so that was stopped. So we just need to be vigilant. I retired November of 20, started Social Security in March of 20 at full retirement age. Social Security took WEP from my benefits for those 8 months before I retired. I have filed a 561. It was denied, refiled. Am I correct? Yeah, you just, as we say in the Marine Corps, hurry up and wait. Do you think we'll ever get past that no tax will be deducted from our Social Security checks? It's a hefty amount, almost $300 for me. I certainly hope so. But if that's a hefty amount then you have other income coming in. So if you're, but yeah, I hope so. I hope so. But again, that's going to hurt the people that, can take the hit less. I will be 65 in a month and I'm on disability. Which will I switch to full Social Security at 65 or 67? You'll switch to regular retirement benefits at your full retirement age. But remember, 65, check out your Medicare plan and see if a Medicare supplement is a better choice for you than your Medicare Advantage plan, which is probably what you have because you're under 65. And this might be your only chance to switch, and it doesn't hurt to check it out. And if it's not good for you, then it's not good for you. All right. Got a lot of, let's see here. Filing bankruptcy affects to receive my widow's Social Security check. I will appreciate for your response. Filing bank. If you're receiving a widow's check, filing for bankruptcy, yeah, that doesn't affect anything. Yeah, bankruptcy. The only time it makes a matter is makes a difference is if you have an overpayment to the Social Security Administration and you include that in your bankruptcy. So. Uh, also, thank you for giving your time to help. All of us need. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, let's jump around here. I received a small amount as a divorced spouse after he died. My Social Security jumped up to triple. He worked till 73, but a total of 13 years in the US. Any idea why it more than doubled? Yes, because when you were receiving as a spouse, a divorced spouse, those were living benefits, and you can receive up to 50% of that person's full benefit amount. When a person dies, it's no longer up to 50%, it's up to 100%. So that's why it doubled. So yeah, a lot of people are amazed. It's like people, get on here. My check just doubled. What happened? And say, well, where are you receiving benefits? Oh, from an ex spouse. Are you in touch with that ex spouse? No, not really. I haven't talked to that person in years. Well, I hate to break the news to you, but they just passed away. That's why your benefits doubled. So it took me under an hour to talk to my local Social Security office today. Got an appointment for February 3rd after filing an application for retirement benefits. Best experience to date. Awesome. Busy. I love to hear that. Even in the face of all of these issues, there's some offices, it's probably in a kind of a small townish, possibly. So yeah, if you don't mind, busy bumblebee. Sounds like they were good to you. They took care of you. So please put the name of the office in the chat. We always like to be positive as much as possible. And if you were taken care of by a local Social Security office, shout out, please. For my brother-in-law, he turned 65 in July. He's working full time with insurance. He hasn't signed up for Part A or B. Will he be penalized for not getting Part A right now? No. If he has health insurance from work, current work, his or his spouse's, and the employer has 20 or more employees, then you do not have to sign up for Part A or Part B if you don't want to. You're not penalized. So 5 years later, 10 years later, when he stops working, stops receiving health insurance from that work, again, his or his spouse's, then he signs up for Part B at that time. If he wants to sign up for Part A now, he can. But it's zero premium. It's probably going to be zero premium for him, so it's an extra. But if he's giving to a health savings account, he has to stop contributing to a health savings account 6 months before his A starts. So he can start Part A and then refuse Part B and then refuse to start the benefits. Just get Part A. Or you can get Part A and start the money and refuse Part B. And so there's all kinds of different variables. So Hannah's Helping Hands, thank you for taking care of other people out there. We love that. My ex-husband passed a few years ago. I was his only marriage and he had no children. We were married just about 2 years when divorced. Yeah, only 2 years then, unfortunately. There's no benefits. You had to be married. If it was a divorce type situation, you had to be married to the person for 10 years. I received a Social Security letter with a call to determine if I could be entitled to a higher benefit since drawing survivor benefits. I was 73 when this letter arrived. Yes, I was, but I want the remainder recouped. Okay, yes, this is called a WIB-RIB letter. And basically, what it is, all the Social Security offices throughout the country get this report that says, hey, you have these people in your area that are currently receiving survivor benefits, and now their benefits on their own record are more. Reach out to those people and tell them that if they switch from survivor benefits to their own, they can get more money. But unfortunately, sometimes the letters don't get out. They go to the wrong address, an old address. They're not delivered. They're thrown in the trash or whatever. So if you, I would say, hey, yes, benefits on my own record, we're at the highest at 70. Again, COLA is a whole different thing. But yeah, try to get as much back pay as you possibly can. They can usually do 6 months with no problem whatsoever. But if you make the case that, yeah, y'all you said you sent me the letter, but I didn't get the letter. So I want that extra pay going back to 70. So I would fight that. Try to get that extra, year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever the case may be. Corey, my mom is approaching 65. She was approved for Medicare. She received an extra help application, has no other income besides my dad's Social Security. Is there any harm in applying? Nope, no harm at all. Go for it. That's the extra help with prescription drugs. Um, it used to be they estimated it helps over $5,300 a year or something for people with prescription drugs. But now this year, the max you can pay out of pocket for prescription drugs is $2,000. But it still helps. So yeah, definitely apply. So yes, and even if even if you are not taking prescription drugs now, people say, well, I don't want to fill it out because it's one of the quickest forms in Social Security, one of the quickest applications, crazy quick, easy. So you fill it out, return it, even if you're not taking prescriptions now. Please do it if you need the help, because even if you're not taking prescriptions now, that might change next week or next month or next year. And if you have that extra help on your record, and then next month or next year, the doctor gives you some expensive medication, it automatically kicks in. So do it as a preparation, even if you don't take any drugs right now. I should say drugs. I should say pharmaceuticals, prescription drugs. We collected all the hospital and doctor medical documents to help with moving through the disability process more quickly, but now Social Security says they don't want it on the phone, but website said submit it. Yeah, the website, yeah, they just give you the standard answer. I did a series of videos on filing for disability, and what the thing is when people submit their own disability medical records, sometimes they take out specific pages that are not good for them. So, like, if you have from a particular doctor, you have like 100 pages, and they're not numbered. So you have like 100 pages, and people go through the 100 pages. Oh, well, this one might not help me. This one might not help me. So they pick out 17 pages that don't help them, and they send the rest. So the person at DDS, rather than having to go through there and see if they all match up and look at the spin, that they just request it directly from the doctor. So when you file for disability, that's what you do. You give them the doctor's name and hospital name and all that stuff, and they request it directly. And sometimes the examiner likes that better, because they know sometimes, yeah, it's the typical thing where a few people ruin it for all of us. So anyway, Frank, I'm jumping around here. I'm sorry. I apologize. We're almost out of time. So I'll jump to a few people that I don't recognize. I was just awarded my Social Security benefit, was told mine was reduced because of the windfall provision. Okay. Yeah. And I will start receiving a reduced benefit in March. I thought this provision was eliminated. Yes, it was. But Congress did their thing. Now Social Security has to do the thing. So, as we used to say in the Marine Corps, hurry up and wait. But I'll do a video on that. So, um, yeah, let's see here. All right. Brian, I will retire at 62. My wife will be 56. We have a disabled daughter who will be 17. Can my wife get early benefits to care for the daughter? Yes. So it's called auxiliary child and care benefits. So you get your benefits at 62, your child gets benefits. Um, Normally, the child and care benefits, your wife has to be taking care of a child that's receiving that the parent is receiving benefits, and the child is receiving benefits as well. Um, and the child has to be 16 and under. But if the child became disabled before the age of 22, and you have to go through the whole thing to file for a disability for the daughter, then yes, your wife can receive child and care benefits for a disabled child that became disabled before the age of 22. But you have to go through the whole process. And your wife is limited to the amount she can work as well. The regular limit, the 23,400. But yes, so you can receive benefits. Your child can receive benefits. Child disability benefits, and they'll switch to disabled adult child benefits, when they turn 18, and then your wife can receive benefits on as well. They can, as long as you're taking care of a child that became disabled before the age of 22, your wife can receive benefits until she is 67 years old, or 67, full retirement age, and then they'll just switch to regular spouse benefits. All right, we are near the end here. Let's see. Lion King. Okay, here's an interesting name. My disability benefits expired June 8th, while my SSI benefits started 3 months ago. I am a dependent under 18 and I'm scheduled for an interview on February. Am I missing other benefits? It doesn't, yeah, if you're a disabled adult child, it sounds like disability, SSI. So you're not receiving a whole heck of a lot from the disability, and that's why you're being supplemented by the SSI. Once you're on disability for 2 years, you're going to get Medicare automatically. They'll send you the whole packet. You can reach out to, in the meantime, you can reach out to your state Medicaid office and see if you can get Medicaid or the Affordable Care Act health insurance, whatever the case may be. Yeah. Um, Shout out to the Social Security office in Grand Prairie, Texas. They approved my SSDI, deposited back pay, and all in the same day. Awesome. Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, he's in McKinney, but he does training for that part of East Texas there, Grand Prairie. So I'm sure that was Patrick, the hardest working guy at Social Security. Hey, Patrick. He used to be in my office and he transferred. So it's just the nicest guy you'll ever meet. All right, Carnivore Journey. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. All right, got my my coffee IV for the day. Okay, we are at hour. I apologize. I don't have time for any other questions. We're out of time, but I will be back again tomorrow. And y'all have an awesome night. Take